Welcome back to Undefendable. We got some hot news right off the press today. We're going over the Alchemist coming out in January. Really excited for this character. I think he's going to be a lot of fun. Let's go ahead and watch the intro video and see what we can gather, and then we'll try and break him down. Let's do it. Love the art. Very, very cool. All right, let's go ahead and look at some of his abilities. Oh, we were almost right there. Let's check out his abilities. Ah, beautiful. See, they knew what we wanted. First thing to note, the artwork, absolutely amazing. Let's go ahead and look at his dice. He's got AAA, BB, C, so really simple dice. When it comes to hitting his abilities, the faces are relatively simple. One thing to notice immediately, he does not have a basic attack. So that is interesting. Let's go over Transmute. It looks like be an AAABB, gain 1, deal 6 CP. And from what I could gather, these little spots on the Alchemist board is where you're going to be putting your potions as you attach potions. And then you can use those as attack modifiers or modifiers of some sort to maybe heal, remove status effects, etc. So Transmute is likely his quote-unquote basic. That's the one that's just going to be pretty easy. One thing to note is you do not attach a potion here, right? So you just gain a CP and deal 6. So you would have to attach a potion from a different ability here to use that as an attack modifier. Hermetics is attach 3 potions, heal 2. This is likely going to be your setup ability. I noticed that this spot right here tends to be like a really big like setup ability, like Thor, Mighty Summons, Jean Grey, Occlusion is usually right here. So this is where you're going to find a lot of your, Psychic Multiplier. But this seems to be the setup. So you roll this turn 1, you heal 2, and then you attach 3 potions wherever you want to. And I assume you can attach it to your defensive or offensive abilities, which is pretty cool. The lab, during your upkeep, attach 1 potion. So that's nice. So if you wanted turn 1, you could throw on something here and roll for it and get it by using the lab. But you may also remove attached potions at any time to re-roll one of your dice. I find this really cool and really interesting, right? You have a lot of like kind of like the Storm or Gambit style setup where you're trying to build up your board or build up your ace cards, so to speak, and then unload them on your opponent. So like, for instance, this one right here, Potion Overload, if you can probably stack this with a bunch of potions, and then when you cast this ability, just explode on them, that's really cool. What I'm also noticing is, a little bit of a Paladin-esque type scenario where you're not necessarily having a basic, but you have access to a lot of your other opportunities. But I think the way that he's actually functioning is a lot of his dice are going to roll into really easy fallbacks. Potion Overload to me almost seems like a mini alt, right? Your alt looks really, or your mini alt and your alt look really good. This is kind of like if you chase the alt or mini alt, this is a really strong fallback, which is kind of cool. Potion Overload, attach 2 potions, deal 7 damage. And then the straights are Diffusion, small, attach a potion, deal 7, attach 2 potions, draw 1, deal 8. Again, I think this is going to be your workhorse. It's good damage. It does what you want to do with the potions, and you get to draw a card on the large straight. Also, a lot of your abilities tend to funnel into the straights because you're rolling for, if you're going for these setups, you're going to be rolling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 a lot. And if you're going for even chain reactions or potion overloads, well, if you're not getting the 6s you need, I assume you're going to be sitting somewhere here in the diffusion, small to large straight range. But these are probably going to be your workhorse. Something to note, there is no potions here, so you cannot use potions unless his cards say otherwise, which I assume they do. Chain Reaction is likely going to be your fallback from missing potion overload, or you're straight, or you're just not seeing these symbols. Deal 6 damage, and then you may spend 1 potion that is attached to your other offensive abilities. So the way I'm understanding this is, when I do this ability, I can use the potion here, but I can also use a potion on one of my other offensive abilities. So this actually could be pretty strong. I mean, I think from what I saw, the max damage you're going to be able to get out of this, at least without seeing his cards, is going to be 10 damage, because I think the attack modifier just adds 2. But you can see there's going to be a lot of ways to stack your potions from what I'm seeing, which is really cool. Catalysts attach 1 of each type of potion. I believe there's 4. So you're attaching 4 potions, then dealing 6 undefendable damage. You can attach those potions here, I assume. So it would be potentially 8 undefendable damage, and then whatever the other potions do, which is kind of nice. And then passive evasion is defense, is attach potions. So every 6 you roll, you can attach a potion. So ultimately, the way that I'm on... Oh, and then his ultimate, Chemical Trip. Attach 4 potions, deal 10 damage. You may spend up to 3 potions that are attached to your offensive abilities. All right. Doesn't look like he's going to have any trouble attaching potions, since literally almost every ability does it except for this transmute ability. And even I would justify the transmute ability does it because your passive lets you attach 1 potion. Now, this is interesting. You may remove an attached potion at any time to reroll 1 of your dice. So you could even potentially get a little frisky here and do this multiple times a turn, I assume. If you really want to go for that catalysts and you're at 3 6s, or maybe you're at 3 6s and 2 of the 4s and 5 symbols. I believe it's composition. You could spend this to reroll, and if you get this again, spend this to reroll, and you're basically going for the 6 or going for the solution 1, 2, or 3. But that's a really cool ability. It gives off Naira Huntress vibes, which is kind of nice. Let's see if we can look at his leaflet here. Okay. So we have Punchify, Bolsterate, Cleansitude, and I don't know what that bottom one is. Let me see if I can get to that bottom one real quick. Toxication, it looks like. Yeah, Toxication. May be attached to any ability when you, I assume when spent, inflict poison. So that's pretty cool. Toxication. Attached to any ability, not offensive or defensive. Cleansitude may be attached to any ability. When spent, the Alchemist chooses 1. Remove 1 status effect from yourself or heal 1, it looks like. And then Bolsterate. This is a defensive one. Prevent 2 damage. So you're probably going to just stack your defense with these. So hopefully you're preventing up to 4 damage a turn, or at least up to 2. And then Punchify. This is going to be your attack modifier. When spent, add 2 damage to your attack. These tokens may not be transferred, but can be removed. So I don't know how I feel about that, because what's that stats effects could really screw you over, especially after a defensive roll. However, the Alchemist's ability, from what I saw, to get potions or get these potions quickly, I hope isn't going to be just the end of the game like it would be in some scenarios. So it cannot be transferred, but it can be removed. Right, so here's an example, right? You roll for Hermetics, you heal 2, and then you're going to attach 2 of those potions anywhere you want, right? Pretty sweet. So this is kind of like an interesting board state, right? Again, you know, if someone hits you with a what's that status effects with this board, that's going to feel pretty bad, because that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 potions that are just gone like that. Which in theory is likely, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's say that's roughly 2.5 turns worth of potions right there. Now hopefully you're spending these like logically and not hoarding them, right? Because it doesn't really make a ton of sense to hoard them except on potion overload. Because this would be pretty cool if we're looking at this ability. Attach 2 potions, So now you're doing 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and inflicting a poison, which is kind of cool. This is 8 damage instead of 6. This is 8 damage, and you can activate an offensive potion somewhere else. So this could potentially be 8 plus a poison, or up to 10 if you do this plus another one, which is kind of nice. Cleansify over here, so you could hit this, attach one of each type of potion, so you can attach those anywhere, which is nice. And then you're doing, potentially healing and adding more damage. I assume you're going to want to stack this one with the Punchify, just so you can get 10 undefendable damage and then build your board with defense and some heals and toxications. But that's just kind of my rough estimate of what I'm breaking down from here. I do like that it looks like he doesn't mind rolling 6s, which makes the game a little bit more fun. But it seems like it's kind of split like a Huntress scenario, where it's like if you roll 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you're kind of boxed into these top 3 abilities. And then if you roll 6s, you're kind of moving into these 3 abilities. So really straightforward game plan. Kind of like Rogue. Like Rogue wants to roll 6s and pop off Skybound. And if she doesn't roll 6s, she usually fall back to a straight. Or she has to do like the basic, right? So pretty cool. I like it. Let's see. Whenever you activate an ability, you may spend any attached potion for that ability. Your offensive ability, spend at the end of your offensive roll phase. For a defensive ability, spend after resolving the X, Y, and Z. Resolving, right? So pretty cool. I think the Alchemist is going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to tinkering with him and seeing what we can do. So don't be afraid to like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you guys, and we'll chat soon.